is the law related to freedom of speech in Singapore? Right? Because we have the First Amendment, so here in America, the government can't take away your freedom of speech. But you said it before, it seems like we're doing it to ourselves these days in America, where we're picking topics that we don't talk about. But what are there any laws related to freedom of speech in Singapore?
Yes, some people would say that there is a constitution in Singapore which claims that there is freedom of speech, but it's Article 14. But in that constitution itself, it then says, Clause 2, it then says, we have freedom of speech, but there are some restrictions to freedom of speech, even if it, breaks the public harmony or the peace or is provocative or whatever. And that completely defeats the fucking purpose of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
That isn't fucking freedom of speech anymore. So the reason why we have that constitution which claims that there's freedom of speech is to fool fucking foreigners into thinking that we are democratic. And that, because, totalitarian, North Korean-ish, communist motherfuckers, world no like. Fucking democratic motherfuckers, the world like. And that's the thing. America, you guys, Canada, America, Melbourne, whatever the fuck, you guys have freedom of speech, but your politicians aren't able to articulate what actually freedom of speech is, which is why the Singapore government is able to manipulate it in that way. Because essentially what freedom of speech is I haven't seen anybody articulate this before, so you're going to get exclusive. But the central aspect of freedom of speech really is immunity from the law, even if you piss people off with your words. Even if I specifically make a comment, some people deem, even if I specifically make a comment that, okay, Lee Hsien Loong, which is the current dictator in our country, rapes children every day, or I tell people to murder every Christian or fucking Muslim in the world so that atheism can rise, I should not be charged for that. That is freedom of speech.
Right. So I guess some people would say if you were to say the latter thing, which is, I want to murder all these people so atheism can rise, then there's sort of a direct threat. So I guess there's a little bit of a gray area there, but you're more of an absolutist. You think no matter what,
even if
even with the direct threat,
even if it's like a direct threat, why I say that, because that's the thing. I tell you to kill all those Christian motherfuckers. I don't want to do that, by the way. That's not a good way to spread change. But I tell you to kill all those Christian and ISIS motherfuckers, somewhat deemed. But then you go out and kill somebody and you cause a riot. It's your responsibility that you listen to my words and act upon it. It's not my responsibility.
Right.
So if my words causes people to create a riot, that's their responsibility. They go to jail. I don't. I shouldn't be charged for that.
Right. So you're making the distinction, obviously, between words and action. So if there was somebody, look, I've seen a couple of videos where people that don't like you have, attacked you in a mall, and I saw you got somebody grabbed you in a store, and in front of a lot of people that just kind of watched it happen.
Yeah, it's a wretched country.
So if there was somebody right now that was watching your videos that lived down the block from you, and then they started telling people, "Oh, kill Amos Lee, kill Amos Lee," you're saying you would actually be for their right to say that.
Yeah.
But you would be against, obviously, the person that would come to kill you.
Exactly. Don't charge the person who says kill Amos Yee. Charge the people who actually kills Amos Yee. Please don't kill Amos Yee. Please don't kill him. Yeah.
You have to make that qualification there.
Very clear. Yeah.
Okay, so what's next? So you're out now. When is the next trial? What can people do to help awareness? I think we're doing a little something here, but what can we do?
What can you guys do? The biggest things you can do is just spread the word. Hashtag free Amos Yee, make videos, make blog posts, write your feelings about it, and share my videos. My videos are great. Yeah, really great. I'm not even, really, I don't want to be fucking arrogant, but really, they're great. Yeah. It's not even being arrogant, it's just stating facts. They're great. So, share my videos especially.
Yeah.
Just spread the awareness, and I don't know, maybe if you guys start campaigns, start Facebook pages, whatever. You guys know the platforms to spread awareness, so do that on the internet. And if people like a much more live kind of action, I don't know, maybe make speeches or protests on the streets or something in front of the Singaporean embassy, which is what the Hong Kong people and Taiwanese people did it before that, when I was sent to jail. Now I found out that the Singapore, the Hong Kong, and I think Taiwan people, they're not onto me. All the NGOs and the human rights and the activists who spoke up to me before, they don't want to speak up with me anymore. Because you see, that's the thing. before that, I was charged for. It was very blatantly obvious that I was sent to jail because there was a political agenda, because I mocked Lee Kuan Yew, but I added a little Christian quote in between. That's why it gave the government a reason for them to charge me. But mock dictator, it's all right. But mock religion, oh, then you're being too rude. And because of that, then now popularity is all-time low in Singapore. Nobody likes me in Singapore. It's a hellhole out there. I go out, I get attacked. You saw the footage, Rubin. So yeah, which is why it was like really depressing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna go to jail. Nobody's gonna talk about it. Then Logic came along. Then Dusty came along. Then you came along. So we're gonna fuck the government in the ass, hard in the ass.
All right, so we know all about the videos of people attacking you. You just said your popularity is at an all-time low in Singapore. But I'm guessing that in a society that's as repressed and oppressed as you describe it, that there's probably a lot of people who actually are rooting for you. Do you get people coming up to you privately or sending you messages or tweets or whatever from Singapore that are secretly trying to push you along and happy about what you're doing?
Rarely. Now, right now, rarely. No. That's essentially it. Really, all-time low. Nobody dares to say anything good. If they say something good about me, it's unpopular. And, there's really lots of peer pressure. And I think that's the same thing in every kind of society. You go to all the goddamn Facebook sites like All Singapore Stuff or, All Singapore Stuff or like The Independent. And, all of them where, like, there's a huge Singaporean audience. And basically, whenever my news comes up, they just bash me. And nobody wants to say anything good about me, even though they might like me. So, yeah, it's just unpopular to say stuff that's good about me. So, both privately and publicly, not much from Singapore. Not at all, for what I see. It's pretty sad.
So if you could get out right this moment, I mean, if you had a golden ticket right this second, would you want to leave?
Would I want to leave? I'm not going to tell you because I'm not going to say because that might dictate the judge's decision. Some would deem. But yeah, I'm not going to say because that would dictate the government's decision, and basically they're going to do the things that opposite from what I want. But you see, that's the thing. If I go overseas and then I leave the country, right now I can continue making anti-religious videos and then continuing the atheist revolution and be free and obviously not go to a cell, which is fucking horrible. But if I go to a cell, not to say that I won't get any attention if I'm not in a fucking cell. I'm still interesting regardless, even though, yeah. But if I'm put into a cell, there's much more awareness because, oh my God, somebody is sent to a cell, somebody is, put in prison. There's much more of an incentive for people to talk about it, give protests, raise awareness, all that good stuff. So that's the thing. Whether they kill me, put me in a cell, let me go immediately, either way, they're fucked. So I'm winning, Rubin. I'm really winning. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's such an advantageous position. Nobody in Singapore has ever been that advantageous before. Every opposition politician failed because they're never in such an advantageous position as me.
So you
We're
can
gonna destroy Singapore, Rubin.
You can kill a man, but you can't kill an idea. I think that's what you're saying.
You can never kill an idea, Rubin. Ideas live on. Megan Fox's tits, no.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen if you had to just guess? So when are you going back? I was trying to figure that out. When's the next day, the next trial day, or the next day in court?
In 2 weeks there's still going to be a pre-trial, which is like, yeah, after that, like in a few more weeks later, there's going to be trial. So it's going to be stretched out for about, I don't know, a few months before I get my sentence and get sent to jail. I'm pretty sure that I'll be sent to jail. I don't know. Who knows?
But are they saying to you if you retract some of this or if you take the videos down or blah 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 that will let you go? Is there any negotiation? Like,
no,
what are they trying to do?
Negotiation is we're gonna charge you, we're gonna sentence you, we're gonna prove to everybody that you're a fucking horrible person. Because you see, that's the thing. PAP has been ruling the country for goddamn 50 years, and they just got their mandate. They just got 70% of the goddamn vote in goddamn Singapore, which is absolutely horrible. And the first year after they get their goddamn mandate is when they have all the fucking atrocities. Right now they're charging. They just gave a goddamn death sentence to this guy called Ko Jia-bing, and everybody's goddamn fucking shocked. And then right now there's this ridiculous thing where a day before the time when you vote, called cooling off day, you can't goddamn write any articles online which might differentiate the vote, even though the fucking mainstream media can. And then these opposition people, Roy Ung and Teo So Long, they're being charged for that right now. They're being sent to jail. The police are raiding their fucking house. This is the time. The first year after the goddamn Singapore government gets the mandate is when they do all these atrocious fucking things. So this is they're fucking horrible. And then, which is why it's a good time to play the game. They're doing all these atrocities. They decided to charge me after they get their fucking mandate. So they want to play hard. I'm going to fucking play hard. And we're going to make the fucking world explode, Rubin. It's fucking excellent.
Let's give a little credit to your mom. She's walked back and forth a couple of times. So when she finds out about all this stuff, and right now she hears you in the other room and you're passionate and you're going on about all this stuff, she still, I'm sure that your mom doesn't want you to be in jail. So what are the discussions with you guys? Like, does she say, she just says do whatever you want? Is there any level of tone it down or?
Of course, she tries to urge me to tone it down. She tries to urge me because she thinks she's like all other people. She's like, oh no, don't be rude, don't be offensive, get your points across. People would listen to you more, and that kind of thing, because she's an Asian mom, that's the thing. But before that, she was just like, disappointed and pissed off. Now she's really being like, I don't know, kind of like activist. We're saying, free Amos Yee. I disagree with his approach, but you should not send him to jail for it. So that's the good thing about my mom.
Yeah.
And concerning the fucking approach of being vulgar and stuff, people make the argument, okay, if you tone down the vulgar language and all of that, more people would support you and you'll get a bigger audience, more people take you seriously. I don't think so, actually. Because you see, you lose a huge portion of the audience where you use vulgar language. But right now we're in the internet age, where essentially vulgar language and they all reign. Like top YouTubers, PewDiePie and whoever, they're all using vulgar language. Not to say that PewDiePie is good, he fucking sucks. But yeah, basically vulgar language.
You really do fight the power. It's one thing to fight the state and fight religion, but to fight PewDiePie, that's big.
Fuck PewDiePie. PewDiePie's chump. PewDiePie's chump. He's gonna be forgotten in like a few years, PewDiePie's chump. PewDiePie's chump. But anyways, you gain a much larger audience with using vulgar language very eloquently and skillfully. So the amount I gain, I think, for now is much more than the amount I lose. So, which is why I still continue to do it. But things that create a huge range. I made a video called How to Destroy Singapore Government, where it's less vulgar, it's much more putting points across. And then I make the greatest anti-Christian video where it's essentially vulgar as hell, funny, fucking like, it's great. So I make the whole spectrum, I gain the whole spectrum of the audience. Sometimes I make a new video, oh, people don't like me, oh, then people like me. And that's what makes relationships good, Rubin. You piss them off, they like you again, they piss them off. That's what makes life fun, Rubin.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Like, do what you think you should do. And, people like me have to help defend people like you and amplify your voice. So I hope that's what we did here. Do you have a closing statement? I know you don't hold anything back. I feel like you may not even have anything left.
What, closing statement?
You got a closing statement for me?
Fuck the government, let's destroy him. Lee Hsien Loong, that's the main target. That's the guy, it's essentially, he dictates all the laws in Singapore. Let's bash him out. Let's fucking bash that motherfucker up. He's the one that's charging me. He's the one that's fucking causing all of this. He's the one that's imprisoning atheists in Singapore. He's the one that's causing the worst country in the world. Let's destroy him. And let's advocate for goddamn philosophy and science and all that good freedom of speech stuff.
Oh, man.
Go us.
Listen, you absolutely have an ally in me. I promise you that. It's hashtag Save Amos Yee.
Hashtag Free Amos Yee.
It's hashtag Free Amos Yee. I'm starting another hashtag for you. There you go. And just we're going to put the links down below, but remind everyone where they can find you online.
Where they can find me online? Amos Yee, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. That's
all right,
it.
man.
Go find me, yeah.
Seriously, you're a brave warrior for all the right things, and anything I can do for you, please let me know.
Just spread the word, Rubin. Spread the word. And that's all I need, buddy.